Good evening, good evening, good evening, everyone. My name is Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 President. Today is March the 28th, 2025. I'm doing something different tonight. So I'm standing up, and we'll see how this goes, because this is the first time of me trying this setup in a long time. Again, I'm Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 President. Today is May 28th, 2025. And we're a few days before the Cesar Chavez holiday for the state of California and a few other states as well. And I want to read to you something because I think this is important. I'm not sure if many people know this. Cesar Chavez, born March 31st, 1927, passed away in 1993. American farm worker, labor leader, civil rights activist. I think people know that about Mr. Chavez. What kind of goes overlooked or gets overlooked? He co-founded a National Farm Workers Association with Dolores Huerta. Now, people in the Latino community, they know all about Dolores Huerta. But I think people outside the community don't know so much about her. She helped him start this organization. Cool, it became a union. And sometimes it makes me say, why didn't her name also be part of this holiday? So that's unfortunate. And so a lot of times when women say in America, they don't get equal respect. This may be a classic example where two people so instrumental in fighting for farm workers across America, particularly out west, that her name is not part of this holiday. And I also want to read this to you as well. March 31st, 2008, Senator Barack Obama endorsed the idea of creating a national holiday for Chavez's honor. This is his quote. Chavez left a legacy as an educator, environmentalist, and civil rights leader. And his cause lives on. As farm workers and laborers across America continue to struggle for fair treatment and fair wages, we find strength in what Cesar Chavez accomplished so many years ago. We should honor him for what he taught us about making America stronger, more just, and a more prosperous nation. That's why I support the call to make Cesar Chavez's birthday a national holiday. It's time to recognize the contributions of this American icon to the ongoing efforts to perfect our union. Grassroots organizations continue to urge creation of such a national holiday. And on March 30th, 2011, President Obama stated this point all over again. And finally, on March 28th, 2014, he used his authority to proclaim March 31st as Cesar Chavez Day. And this is why I'm talking to you today. Oh, praise God. This is why I'm talking to you today on March 28th. This wasn't planned. This is how it happened. All right. Now, what is today about? Two things. Your invalid contract, your invalid current contract, and the return to work. The return to work order by Governor Gavin Newsom. Let me say this really quickly. You know, if I was still over at the union, you wouldn't be going back to work. I've already shown you who I was. Remember when he wanted to vaccinate the entire state of California, other state employees, but one labor leader said no? That was me. I'm not bragging on myself. I'm just telling you factually what happened. And so, yes, everyone had to be tested, but you didn't have to be vaccinated thanks to Richard Lewis Brown. But now, when he told the so-called leaders of Local 1000 to run Richard out of office, now he's forcing you back to work. Okay? Now, this wouldn't be happening if I was still over there. I want you to remember this. You would not be going back to work if I was still over there. I was trying to negotiate a telework agreement with the state of California. And part of that agreement was going to be, you can't force no one back to work unless you can show that you've lost productivity, goods, services, whatever. you must show a decline in the fourth largest economy on earth. And during the COVID crisis, there was no decline in the fourth largest economy that you, the California state employees, keep going. Even those who are not represented by Local 1000, to all the other public sector unions who represent employees of the state of California, our economy did not go downhill. So why is he forcing you back to work? Because he's transgendering the truth. He told you initially, let's work from home. Let's be safe. It's going to help our environment. Remember, he's Mr. Green Man, Mr. Environmentalist. That's Gavin Newsom. He says it on one hand, but on the other hand, now he's forcing you back to work. On one hand, he wants to make all cars electric in the state of California. But now he wants you to come back to work. So much for protecting the environment. He tells you he's protecting the environment, but the homes in Paradise in Northern California, when they burnt down, where was he at? What was he saying? And they told him, clean up the forest or you'll cause other fires. Excuse me. And sure enough, in Southern California, in those areas in LA, people lost their homes. He transgendered the truth. And now he's telling you, you got to come back to work because he ran me out of office using the so-called leaders of Local 1000. Just stay with me. I'm going to be reinstated. I'm doing this on Friday evening. Now, I told you, and here's one quick point. I know a lot of people are sending me stuff. Please don't put it on my car window because it may get rained on. When people bring me documents to my home, I know you're not going to knock on my door because you don't want me to know who you are. And I have all these documents that were sent to me, okay? Put it in my mailbox. If you don't want to fold it up, which I would appreciate, don't fold it. Put it in an envelope and put it by my door, underneath my porch, so it doesn't get rained on. Let me say it for you again. If you want to tell me something that's so vitally important, but you don't want to tell me in person, you don't want to send it in the mail with no return address, you bring it to my house, 3225 43rd Street, Sacramento, California. Put it on my porch, down on my car window. All right. So someone sent me the Kyle HR memorandum. Let me be real brief with this. As soon as I see the words, departments must consider employee requests for more than one telework day per week on a case-by-case basis. As soon as I hear a case-by-case basis, that tells me all the favorites will still work at home. But everybody who they don't like has to come back to work. That's the first thing. The favorites. All the minorities, you're next. You'll be coming back to work, unless you're a favorite. But if you're a favorite minority and not in the majority, well, you'll be outranked. Let me say that for you again. Week on a case-by-case basis. So they can decide, you so-and-so can stay at home, but somebody else in the office doing the same job, you have to come to work. Okay? Here's the other thing. Here's another lie in this memorandum from Kyle HR. Third paragraph. And this is dated March 13th. An in-office environment requires a critical mass of employees to be present to ensure these operational needs are met. That's a lie. When people were working from home, the needs still got met. But see, when you run the person that's fighting you, and not fighting you just to have an empty fight, but fighting you because he was elected to get you a substantial pay increase, 21%, 3-year contract with GO pay and COLA, paid to everyone equally, with no job loss, no changing of work hours at all, and no outsourcing of jobs. I'm talking to DMV. If I was still over there at the building at Local 1000, all these outsourcing of jobs that Local 1000 is signing off on with the illegal leadership team, let me say it for you again. All the outsourcing of jobs that Local 1000 is signing off on would not happen if I was still over there. See, I fight for jobs. Other so-called suspended of their official duties leaders, they fight to take their jobs and ship them somewhere else. Ship them out of the country, private outsourcing. They don't care about you. I care about you. I love you. See, I'm willing to die for you. And that's why they sent the police to my house. All right. Let's get to the next page here. Here's some other bogus BS. Employees who had a mutually agreed upon agreement to work remotely more than 1 day per week, living in a location in California, 50 or more miles from their designated headquarters or duty station, may be allowed to continue their telework agreement as existed on March 3rd, 2025. If, here we go, here's this bias stuff. If the agency or department determines telework for these employees is consistent with operational need. Let me tell you something. You don't have a union if every time they say for operational need, they need you to do something. It should be in your union contract. And anytime you see the word operational need, who does that benefit? It does not benefit Local 1000. It does not benefit you as a state employee represented by Local 1000, whether you pay money or not, because the Ralph C. Dills Act that they established. It doesn't benefit you. And let me say that correctly. When they did the exclusive bargaining stuff, that started September 30th, 1977. The Ralph C. Dills Act, that didn't get done until July 1st, 1978, for all you smarty ass people. Just want to let you put it out there for you. Anyway, this is garbage. Here's something else. Departments may exempt employees from the 4 in-person days per week if the employee's duties requires them to do other stuff. So they're going to pick and choose who comes to work and who doesn't. That's all this is about, picking and choosing. But why? Because Gavin Newsom is transgendering the truth. He never cared about you to begin with. Remember when he wanted to take 2 days of pay from you for 2 straight years, but he shut down after the first year because he didn't need to do it? All of a sudden they found all the money in the budget. But when it came time for the invalid contract, now they didn't have any money. And now I'm coming to the invalid contract. If anybody wants to come on with me, click on it and I'll bring you on. If you want to make a comment, because I can't see any comments right now. This invalid contract. Hold on 1 second here. Let me start with this. Because somebody else sent me some other stuff and I want to read that as well. Okay. This invalid contract. Run Richard out of office because Richard stands up to us. So run him out of office. He won't give me any money for my political ambitions to run for the White House. So run Richard out. We'll do it at the Sacramento Democratic headquarters. So when you hear me say that the Democratic Party are liars and the truth's not in them, that's what I mean. You voted for me, you put me in office, and then they ran me out. And then they say, well, Richard, you're a Republican. No, I'm not. I was a Democrat until I left September of 24, but I was a Democrat. You've been defaming me and lying about me all this time. They say I'm delusional. They say I'm crazy. Really? Okay. Let me show you how crazy you are for those who call me crazy. This is off the Local 1000 website. It says, and here's suspended VP of bargaining at that time, Irene Green. They voted her to be the chief contract negotiator. That's my job. I'm the president. She's suspended of her official duties on February 25th, 2022. Okay? Her, along with ANICA WALLS and David Jimenez. All right. Here's what it says when they got the contract. The 10% increase reflects a 3% raise in 23, 3% in 24, 3% in 25. Stop right there. 3, 3, and 3. That's 9. Okay? 3% in 25. That's July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2026. That's the fiscal year we're on, right? Okay. Then it says an additional 1% in 2025 if the state budget allows. Listen to this. If the state budget allows, we'll give you 1% extra. What kind of negotiator did this kind of crap? See, this is the mindset of people who are slaves entertaining in unity. This is the mindset of people that when the governor says, I need you to run the duly elected president out of office because I don't respect election results. That's the kind of people you have. Weak-minded, low self-esteem, starting with Irene Green, low self-esteem, Irene Green. So when they tell you on the website you're fighting for 4%, that's a lie. They've been lying to you over and over and over and over and over again. You say, well, Richard, don't call him a liar. Then they're transgendering the truth. But don't say that here. So don't call him a liar. Don't say they're transgendering the truth. We just want you to go away then. Oh, so you want me to go away, but I'm an American. You claim I'm an American. I'm an American. You want to check my status, my citizenship? Oh, no. Go ahead and please check it. Because my family's family, we were bought and paid for. We came over here legally on the ship. Well, it's a slave ship, but still a ship. I'm just saying. Maybe we should be checking her green card. Or brown card, or black card. Maybe we should check the cards of ANICA WALLS and David Jimenez. I don't know. Check all of their cards. Maybe they're not here legally. Or maybe they're working for the state and you don't know that. You should check their employment application. You should check every document they've signed since they were suspended of their official duties and ran me out of office. Check their contracts. Their contracts. Oh, you didn't know about that. All the things they've been doing with Bill Hall. Let me prove it to you. Let me prove it to you. Hold on 1 second here. Hold on. So here we go. I put the pictures up, right? Contract pictures. They put this up because of me. You won't have a contract cover to cover for this current invalid contract because I'm still fighting them in court. And they don't want to put up your signatures. This is how I say this to you. Here's the first page of this current invalid contract, starting, I think, July 1st, 2023 through June 30th, 2026. Okay? So here it is. It's garbage. What does it cover? What's the time period? You don't even know. There's nowhere in that contract that tells you this invalid, quote, contract that they're calling it. Where is the cover page that tells you the period? In fact, where's the signatures at? Where's the signatures? How are you having a protest on March 12th and you got some contract with no signatures in it and no date on it? And you go inside your boss's office talking about you got rights. You don't have any rights. You don't even have a valid contract. You're still under the old contract. There's no signatures on this, and they put it up trying to answer me. You're always trying to answer me because I'm your leader. No signatures, no dates. Okay. All right. Beat that up enough. So let's go back in the past. Now, let me go back to. All right. So I see what happens. So here's this contract, right? This is July. I'm sorry. So they had a funny contract. So this is January 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2023. It was a weird contract. Yvonne wanted to start in January for some sneaky reason. All right. So here it is. I read to you the date. It says master agreement. You see all these faces. I don't see any white people. Woo! And you wonder why there's somebody in the White House doing everything he can to throw out all these minorities. Look at this. If you look at this cover, you know what I see? If I didn't know any better, I think I'm in a foreign country. I don't see hardly any white people on this sucker. 1, 2, 3? 3 whites? 3 European Americans? 3 Caucasians? in the most populous state in the nation? It's that many minorities in California? It's that many minorities in Local 1000? No, it's not. It's half white. It's half white. I don't see their faces. Enough. All right. So, let me get to the signature. On the inside of that, this is Yvonne talking about all the great things in the contract. Okay? This is what she's saying. And she signed it. You don't see no VP signatures. Just her signature. Now, if you go to this contract, you can go to my website, createexcellence7437.com. All right? createexcellence7437.com. Go through my tabs. I believe it's in my first tab. I got all this information. You can look it up, okay? Yvonne signed her name. The bunk chairs and some of the D-birds, if you go to the back of the contract, they signed their name. Normally, it's up front, just the bunk chairs. Let me tell you why. This is Friday night. I'm going to give you something to laugh about. The three vice presidents, when they got elected in 2018, those three, ANICA WALLS, Kevin Menager, Tony OWENS, the MTC, Members for Transparency and Change, they tried to run Yvonne Walker out. They tried to suspend her. The union said, the chief counsel said, we're not suspending her. But they tried to suspend her. What did she do? Well, she didn't do it. Some others said, we're going to take their union leave from them, cut it down in half to 1 week. Not just, they took out 3 weeks, and then ANICA went crying to Yvonne to ask, could she get a second week? She cried and lied. You know how ANICA WALLS is. You know, that's her English. She cries and she manipulates, you know, flashes her hair around. Yeah. And that's why you don't see the vice president's name on this contract. She refused to put their names on there because they tried to run her out for no reason. Yeah. Let them try to explain that to you when they're saying he's crazy and we had to remove Richard to save the union. Number one, you didn't have a union. You have a social justice organization that's a financial aqueduct for the Democratic Party. That's what you have. You don't have no union. I'm your union. I'm your labor leader. These other individuals work for Newsom. They're Newsom's employees. If he told them to go out there and defecate in the front yard of the Capitol, they would. They would defecate. They probably wouldn't even wipe themselves. Okay. Now this is the contract cover. Look at the pictures I put up on the post. July 2nd, 2016 to January 1st, 2020. Okay? That's what a contract cover looks like. Okay? Okay. Great. What do you know? Look at all these signatures. Oh, got a contract. It ain't worth a damn, but you got a contract. It's in writing. What do you know? Yvonne Walker, Margarita Maldonado, Tamika Robinson. And oh, glory herself, Teresa Taylor. And she's the one that told me to suck a dick. Or was that her daughter? No, she told me to suck a dick. Her daughter told me to eat a dick. Eat dick, suck dick. I guess it's all dick. All right, so there is the president and the three vice presidents. And then you'll see the names of the bunk chairs. You don't see State Bar because State Bar is a little different. But this is the inside cover telling you all the great things they did. And here's the leadership. There's our signatures. I kind of want to say I rest my case. I've been telling you this all along. This current contract's invalid. There ain't no signatures on that contract. There is no date on that contract. They put some garbage up. They put up what they agreed to. And then all the little signatures on the side, those are the D-Bird signatures. But it's not a valid contract. Because I didn't do it. And that's why they won't put their names on it and stand by it. But they'll send lawyers after me and put a lien on my home. But they think that I'm a punk. They think they can push me. Oh, no, no, no. Not Jenny's child. You ain't pushing me. Someone contacted me and said, well, Richard, You know, when they say Richard like that, I know I'm in trouble. He said, we watched your video when you were outside your house and you said God a bunch of times. Okay. So to all of you who don't believe in God, then I'm going to ask you to think, will he bring God up tonight through Jesus Christ? Will he bring up Ishmael and Isaac? What makes you think that I have the ability to fight all these evil people on my own? Because you're not helping me. I don't need people to call me and give me advice. I need you to put some money out. I need you to file lawsuits. I need you, when I say, hey, meet me down there to fight them on March 12th, show up. I don't need the phone calls. I don't need your advice. I need you to take action. Okay? That's what I need. So if you don't want to hear me, give my proclamation about my belief in God, and I'm a sinner just like you. I am no better than you. I am not asking you to go to church or to the synagogue or to the mosque or to any religious ceremony or religious event or religious institution or religious place that you worship. I ain't never asked you to do anything like that. I'm just like you. But if you're wondering why I'm fighting so hard and what motivates me, I'm telling you, I have a gift from God. That's what I'm telling you, and I'm not backing up. Sorry if that offends you. But back to the basics. You don't have a valid contract. Whoever's telling you that, you should sue them for defamation. I'm the president. I'm not going anywhere. And they're trying to tie me up in court. I'm in the appeals court. I got to still go to the lower court for this other situation that they got me involved in. But they're trying their best to just destroy me, break my will. Here's the question I want to ask all of you on Facebook who criticize and laugh at me and put the little silly faces up and argue with me. Have you ever thought about what happens if Richard is reinstated? You ever thought about that? You ever said, well, there's no way he can be reinstated. But I was told there was no way I was going to win the election. And when they ran me out illegally, because I'm still the president, they thought I would go away and shut up and know my place. But I don't know my place. I don't. Because my place is on a righteous ground. I didn't do anything wrong. If I had stolen something, if I had taken money from Local 1000, they would have sued me. They would have prosecuted me criminally and civilly. You know it, and you know it. That would have been in writing. They don't have anything. They had an attitude because they didn't win. Yvonne's people didn't win. Yvonne didn't win. MTC didn't win. Because they were fighting among themselves. Oh, yes, they did. They split their own vote. The same thing they said about me, splitting the MTC's vote, they were liars. They know who they are. And that's why in the prior contract, or in the 16, what is it? The prior contract, their names are not in the book. I don't know why. Someone had to remind me of that. They were talking to me, laughing with me, trying to get me to calm down. And I said, yeah, the 3 VPs, including ANICA WALLS, who's pretending that she's your leader. She couldn't even be a cheerleader for a B-rated team. Hey, I'm talking about her. I still respect her. No, I don't. I take that back. I have to love her because I'm commanded to love everyone. But she's no good. But she was created to be no good. She's been lying to you over and over and over again. She got you believing she's fighting for you. She's not fighting for you. She's not. She's a social justice wannabe. All right. So hopefully I've been quite clear that I was still over in the building, you wouldn't be going back to work. Because we would have never signed no nonsense contract. That contract they signed, that invalid contract, why didn't they put in there, we're going to continue telework and we're not giving you the power over us? But they didn't do it. They never had any intention on doing it because that's why they ran me out so they could do what Gavin tells them to do. And that's why the most important part of that contract, 5.11, dignity. Your dignity is controlled by the people you're trying to negotiate with. You're already a loser. in contract negotiations. Because anywhere in that contract where it says Cal HR is the final decision maker, you've already lost. It should never be in any part of that contract because you're giving away your power. You're giving away your services, your goods, your products, your self-esteem, if you ever had it. But see, Local 1000 has a history. There's no self-esteem in this union. Y'all have the lowest self-esteem I've ever seen. I have my self-esteem. And even if I didn't have it, I know how to fake it. But all these texts and calls, Darren, what action are you taking right now? I see you talking on Facebook, but I don't ever see you do nothing, put your ads on the line. You just talk. You ain't doing no action. And that's why I told you about Teresa Taylor. She doesn't care about you. You're not going to take action. She looks at you and laughs. But you don't know how I know this. They look at you and they look at all these other people and they despise you. You're never going to do anything against them because you're not taking action. You're just talking. Who cares about your talk on Facebook, about how the comments you make? What action are you taking? When I went down on March 12th, I took action. I contacted you. You said you didn't want to go. You had things you had to do. Your work was more important than that. Well, if your work is more important than standing up to fight against return to work, if your work is so important, then don't call me talking about DMV. Our jobs are being outsourced because you already told me how you really feel. Not what you think, how you feel. And I'm the one that's going to fight to keep DMV alive. Because what they want to do one day, Darren Martinez Stahl, they're going to eliminate all of DMV. You didn't know that though, did you? But I did. Then now you found out on March 28, 2025. They don't want a DMV anymore. But I thought you knew. Okay. Now listen, I'm not mad at Darren. I'm not mad at anyone. I'm just saying to you, don't come crying. When they removed me from office, their attempted suspension of me and removal, y'all didn't do anything. Y'all hid in your little cubicles. Oh, I wish I could help Richard. Oh, I voted for him, but I don't want to do anything else. Oh. Then when Gavin Newsom gets ready to bend you over and give it to you, don't say nothing. Take it. When he takes away another day, if this economy hits a bad point, and he has to take a day from you, he will. Unless I'm back in. And the next governor, she'll take from you too. Because you've already established a pattern of behavior that anytime the state, regardless of a Republican or a Democrat, it doesn't matter. They'll take from you and they'll keep raping you over and over and over again. They'll keep raping you, molesting you, violating you. Oh, yes, they will. Yes. Yes, they will. And I'm not trying to trigger no one when I say those words. I'm not. But that's how I feel they did me. They tried to take away my dignity. But I got dignity, and they can't take mine. Mine comes from the Most High and from my family. All right, so I don't know how long I've been going for, but I'm going to keep this short and tight tonight. I hope you have a great 3-day weekend. If you decide to do any rallies or anything in honor of Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, I wish you nothing but success. Do it peacefully. Do it respectfully. And we're going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting. Whether you want to fight or not, I'm going to keep fighting. And when I told you the truth, that you didn't have a current valid contract, I never lied to you. And your self-esteem and dignity is reflected in the fact that you're following an agreement with no signatures on it. No signatures, no period of when it starts and when it ends. And when you go inside your boss's office talking about you have a contract, they laugh at you. They're laughing at you. How do I know? Because I've had. Just trust me that I know. Trust me that I know. So if you want to take action, contact me. I don't have to put my whole strategy out on the phone, but I will say this. I have filed lawsuits. I filed a lawsuit against those 40-some defendants in Local 1000 When Richard Wake tried to say I was mentally ill on Facebook, I filed a lawsuit against him. And I'm still fighting that in court. And when I'm reinstated back to Local 1000, and you're wondering, what will I do? I think the question you should ask yourself is, what won't I do? You try to take my life. You try to take my dignity. You took my good name. You've done all these things. I was forced into a retirement because they're trying to fire me on my job. And I had someone call me to tell me that, yeah, they were going to fire you when you went back to work after coming off a state disability. They were going to fire you and try to humiliate you. Because I would have still been serving my first term. And you know I would have been reelected. You know that and I know that. And that's why when they ran me out, they said, bar him from reelection. I didn't do anything wrong. When they held that illegal meeting to remove me, to take away all my powers, October 16th and 17th, 2021, the Sacramento Democratic headquarters, and I warned them, I said, don't have this meeting because you're going to face disciplinary action and a possible removal from the board. I have it in writing. But yet y'all follow them. Y'all want to talk to them. Why are you talking to these people? They don't care about you. The only person you should be talking to, the only person you should be following is me. You're following the people who overthrew the Democratic vote. And then you wonder why I go off on these videos. All right. Now, to anyone who watched this to the very end, I'm going to say it for you again. I am your Local 1000 President, Richard Lewis Brown. I have not left you or forsaken you, manipulated you, bamboozled you, deceived you, hustled you. I'm still your president. And I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican, no party preference like myself. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're transgender. I'm going to get you this money, but I need you to help me. I'm going to get you this money. I mean that. All right. March 28th, 2025. I am Richard Lewis Brown, your Local 1000 President. Thank you. Have a great 3-day weekend. Good night.